How many men and women who have children can pinpoint an exact reason why they wanted them in the first place? Today, and certainly a decade or two ago, we would not expect many people to know why they want kids. This points to a social imperative to have children, especially if you're female. The cover of a 1986 issue of Ms. Magazine featured a picture of a late-time pregnant woman with the caption, "When to have your baby." Notice it's a when, not an if. If doesn't even seem to be an option. For many years, the American dream was to have a house with a white picket fence and 2.5 kids. But that mindset has changed. 1 in 5 women today are childless, compared to 1 in 10 in 1976. This is the result of an emerging demographic of people who choose to be childless. Despite the fact that there are huge progressive advancements in fertility medicine, some couples decide not to give birth. This childless trend is interesting because it stands in the face of an overbearing motherhood mandate, that expectation that the natural thing to do for women especially is to have kids. Those expectations lead to an almost impossible, all-absorbing job. Motherhood today is seen as a full-time occupation, requiring as much care for 2 children as previously required for 6, according to the book on womanly conduct. And marketers and advertisers have taken advantage of this motherhood lifestyle to structure a popular culture and consumer market obsessed with families and kids. Everything from cleaning products to cars are marketed at moms. They represent a $2.4 trillion market. That's twice the size of the annual defense budget. The fertility rate is at a record low, yet the baby industry is at a record high. Life and Style tabloids have baby bump watches, and other magazines and blogs contribute to the parenting culture, offering everything from stories on the trials of parenting to how to handle playdates and the best Wii games for kids. Given all this, it doesn't make sense that fertility is going downhill. This is evidence for the fact that voluntary childlessness is a shift that culture hasn't quite adjusted to yet. It's clearly still a developing trend. Stigmas still exclude childless women. To be a good woman, it seems you have to be a mother also. And childlessness is regarded as an affliction. If you look at adverts and propaganda in the 1950s, it was very focused on the nuclear family. The stay-at-home mom baking and cooking and being the ideal mother to her children. It seemed a patriotic duty to raise a good family. There's that idea that women are inherently nurturant, are supposed to be mothers, and must have children to be fulfilled. Today's shift towards voluntary childlessness is a rebellion against that idea. But why? We realize that this trend goes against the culture and motherhood mandate of our times. So why is it happening at all? Studies have reported correlations, but the most obvious reason I found for childlessness is an economic one. Children are expensive, and the setbacks from having them can be monumental. For a woman with a career, the opportunity cost of having a child that sets them off their career track averages at $1 million due to lost salary and lost promotions. Of married female senior company executives, only 1/3 of them had kids. What's more, the U.S. is one of the only developed nations that doesn't provide for maternity leave, much less paternity leave. Strictly numerically, a child born in 2011 will cost $234,900 until the age of 18. That's just unfathomable. So it makes sense that the voluntary childless are more likely to be educated, high-earning, upwardly mobile, and career-focused women. Women put off motherhood because of what I'm calling the career mother dilemma. Our society expects so much from women. We have this concept of a supermom with a briefcase in one hand and a baby in the other. They feel that this do-both ideology sets them up for failure, and so decide to forego parenthood altogether. Parenting, and especially mothering, has grown out of proportion, now involving responsibility for pregnancy, physical and emotional care, and psychological, social, and intellectual development. Societal pressures of parents today are hard to live up to, especially if you're female and plan on having a successful career. The amount of investment expected for both just makes it unrealistic. The career mother dilemma. So we have this shift towards childlessness. What does that mean society would be like by the time we're having kids, or not? Critics of the childless are quick to point out that there'll be less taxpayers, less entrepreneurs and workers. Whether you agree with that or not, there certainly will be economic changes. Already with the graying of America, the baby boom generation are moving into retirement, using Social Security, and needing greater health care. What will happen when the succeeding generations needed to support them are even smaller. In addition, will the target of markets still be less mom-centered? Will the childless still be stigmatized? We are the only species for which mothering is an option, and more are choosing to remain childless and loving it. It remains to be told if this trend will produce even further cultural shifts and new viewpoints. Perhaps we'll see this play out within our own lifetime. And that's what I'm excited for, because I want to know if it will ever be that the childless are no longer childless, but instead child-free.